Hello and welcome to the lecture of thermodynamics. Now, in this lecture, we will mainly talk about thermodynamic coefficient. We will mainly deal with thermodynamic coefficient. So, if you have followed the previous lectures of thermodynamics, then we have already discussed that in closed system, the natural variables are P, V, S and T, because in closed system, between system and surrounding, only energy transfer takes place but matter transfer does not take place. That means in closed system we have already seen that the natural variables are P, V, S and T. Now in this lecture we'll mainly see, suppose if I do a change in temperature. Suppose I am doing a change in temperature. Then what will be the effect of changing the temperature on V if the other two variables P and S are constant? That means if I change a variable, what will be the change in the other variable if the other variable remains constant? That can be known from thermodynamic coefficient. So from thermodynamic coefficient, what can be known? On changing one variable, what will be the effect of change on the other variable if the other variables are kept constant? That can be known from the thermodynamic coefficient. So what is the use of thermodynamic coefficient, or what we will do by reading thermodynamic coefficient is that on changing one variable, corresponding change in other variable, keeping the other variable constant, can be known from thermodynamic coefficient. As I have said, it is telling on changing one variable. Suppose I am changing the temperature, corresponding change in other variable. So when I am changing the temperature, what will be the change in pressure? Suppose what will be the change in pressure I want to measure, and for that I have to keep constant the other two variables V and S. So if I changing the temperature, what will be the corresponding change in pressure if the other variables are constant? That can be known from thermodynamic coefficient. So that is why we need to study thermodynamic coefficient. Fine. So now we will see there are mainly three thermodynamic coefficient. So there are mainly three thermodynamic coefficient: alpha, beta and gamma. Okay, so mainly three thermodynamic coefficient are there: alpha, beta and gamma. Alpha, beta and gamma. So these are the mainly three thermodynamic coefficient: alpha, beta and gamma. Alpha is isobaric thermal expansion coefficient, beta is isothermal compressibility coefficient, and gamma is isochoric temperature based pressure change coefficient. Now we will see one by one alpha, beta and gamma. Fine. So first let's talk about alpha. So first let's talk about isobaric thermal expansion coefficient, that is alpha. So from the name itself you can understand that isobaric, that means pressure is constant. Fine. Isobaric means pressure is constant. Fine. Now thermal expansion. Now expansion means positive change in volume. That means positive change in expansion means volume. Now thermal means temperature based. That means we are talking about isobaric temperature based pressure change, volume change coefficient. That means isobaric means pressure is constant, thermal means temperature based, expansion means positive change in volume. That means what will be the change in volume if I change the temperature at constant pressure? That can be known from alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha is relative change in volume. Alpha is relative change in volume with respect to change in temperature at constant pressure. Okay, that is alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha is the relative change in volume with respect to change in temperature at constant pressure is known as alpha, is known as isobaric thermal expansion coefficient. Fine. So that is alpha. From the name itself you can understand isobaric means pressure change, pressure is constant, thermal means temperature based, expansion means positive change in volume. Fine. This is alpha. That means there are mainly three terms: relative change in volume with respect to change in temperature, and the pressure is constant, that is alpha. That means if I write the mathematical form of alpha, then I have to see what is alpha. Alpha means I am writing in mathematical sense relative change in volume. So alpha is relative change in volume by change in temperature. So change in temperature at constant isobaric condition, that means constant pressure. So this is at constant pressure. Fine. Now when I say relative change in volume means change in volume by actual volume. Change in volume by actual volume by change in temperature. Fine. Change in temperature at constant pressure. Fine. Now change in volume means dV. Change in volume means dV. Actual volume is V. So if the actual volume is V, change in volume is dV. Fine. Now that if the temperature is T, then the change in temperature is dt. Fine. At constant P. So this is alpha. This is the mathematical form of alpha. Now as I have earlier in the previous class I have told you that on introducing a constant in the equation of complete differentiation, the complete differentiation becomes partial differentiation. That means d becomes del. So as I have said in the previous class that on introducing a constant in the equation of complete differentiation, the complete differentiation changes to partial differentiation, and the partial differentiation does not change, independent variable does not change. Okay, so partial and independent variable does not change. Fine. So on introducing a constant, d becomes del, and independent variable does not change, and partial differentiation does not change. Now what I have written in the previous slide, that alpha is dV by V, relative change in volume, with respect to change in temperature at constant P. That means there is a constant P. P is constant here. That means dV and V, that means it is complete differentiation. It will become partial differentiation. That means dV will become del V, but V, that means the independent variable, does not change. So V will remain as V, dt will become del T, and there will be a constant P. That means 1 by V will be outside and del V del T at constant P. Fine. So alpha will be, in mathematical sense, equal to 1 by V del V del P del V del T at constant P. So this is the expression of alpha. Now let's see the unit of alpha. So what is alpha? Alpha is now 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Fine. So this is alpha. So if you see the unit of alpha, then you can see that del V, that means change in volume. So unit of volume will be there, and in the numerator and in the denominator, this is V, that means unit of volume into change in temperature, that means temperature unit. That means unit will cancel out. So 1 by temperature unit will be there. That means temperature is in Kelvin unit, 1 by Kelvin. That means Kelvin inverse is the unit of alpha. So unit of alpha is Kelvin inverse, and the mathematical expression of alpha is 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Fine. Okay. Now we will see important point regarding alpha. So, or you can say important point or feature of alpha. Important point regarding alpha. We will see now one by one. So first is, I have said that mathematical form of alpha is 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Fine. So del V del T at constant P. So for solid and liquid, this alpha value is very small, because for solid and liquid, this del V del T at constant P value is very small. Fine. So for solid and liquid, alpha is very small, because this value del V del T at constant P is very small for solid and liquid, but this value del V del T at constant P for gas is considerable. That means alpha value for the gas is considerable, but for solid and liquid, alpha value is very small, because del V del T at constant P is very small. Fine. Okay. Now the next feature of alpha, you can say, next important point regarding alpha, you can write alpha is equal to 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Fine. So if you write from here this del V, then del V will be alpha V del T. This is at constant pressure, means isobaric condition. Fine. This is an isobaric condition. Now if you can recall the IUPAC nomenclature of work, then work is minus PdV. You know this. So work will be minus P dV, means alpha V dt. So alpha V dt. Fine. So you can also find out the value of work by using the value of alpha. That means the condition is, so the expression is W is equal to minus P alpha V dt, and the condition is, it is isobaric condition. W is minus P alpha V dt. That means by using the value of alpha, we can also calculate work. Fine. Now another important feature of alpha you can understand from here is that alpha is 1 by V del T at constant P. Now if you recall the Born thermodynamic square and the mnemonic technique, this is the square. This is Satya Prakash, very tired. Hey God, AU. Now arrow is from S to T and arrow is from P to V. Now you have in alpha, you have the expression, you have the partial derivative del V del T at constant P. That means del V del T at constant P. So if you give arrow from V to T, then you have to give arrow from S to P. So from here you can write that you have del V del T, del V del T at constant P equal to del S del P, del S del P at constant T. This, now you have to check the sign also. Now you have to check sign with respect to numerator. So S arrow is moving away, so there will be positive sign, and with respect to V, the arrow is coming closer to V, that means there will be a negative sign. So this we have already discussed in our lecture of Born thermodynamic square from the mnemonic technique. We know how this comes. That means del V del T at constant P is equal to minus del S del P at constant T. This you know from Born thermodynamic square. Now alpha is 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Now if you replace the value of del V del T at constant P equal to minus del S del P at constant T, then you write minus 1 by V. Instead of del V del T at constant P, I am writing minus del S del P at constant T. So del S del P at constant T. Fine. Okay. So from here, what you can write is that del S is equal to minus alpha V del P. This you can write. That means from the value of alpha, by using the value of alpha, you can calculate the change in entropy, and the condition is temperature is constant. That means isothermal. So at isothermal condition ds del S, the change in entropy is equal to minus alpha V del P. That means by using the value of alpha, you can calculate the change in entropy value if you know the other values, and the condition is isothermal condition. Fine. So from the value of alpha, you can calculate work, you can calculate change in entropy as well. Now if you want to understand the meaning of alpha in a general sense, so this is a mathematical expression. If you want to know the meaning of alpha in a normal sense, that means if you take the example that water, suppose you have water at 20 degrees centigrade, now you have increased the temperature to 25 degrees centigrade, then what will be the corresponding change in volume? It means what will be the corresponding change, what will be the relative change in volume when you change the temperature of water from 20 degrees centigrade to 25 degrees centigrade. That can be known from alpha. So this is the meaning of alpha. Fine. Okay, now let's talk about another thermodynamic coefficient, that is beta. Fine. So beta is isothermal. Isothermal, that means temperature is constant. Isothermal compressibility factor. Fine. That means beta. Now when I say isothermal, that means temperature is constant. Fine. Temperature is constant. Now compression, compressibility means with respect to pressure, decrease in volume. It means with respect to pressure, compression, compressibility, that means with respect to pressure, change, or you can say decrease in volume. That means I'm keeping the temperature constant, I'm applying pressure, and there is a decrease in volume. Fine. That means relative negative change in volume with respect to pressure at constant temperature is what we call as beta, isothermal compressibility factor. That means so what is beta? Beta is relative negative change in volume with respect to pressure at constant temperature is known as beta. Fine. So three terms here also important: relative negative change in volume with respect to pressure at constant temperature, or you can say with respect to change in pressure. With respect to change in pressure. So relative negative change in volume with respect to change in pressure at constant temperature is known as beta. Fine. So what will be the mathematical expression of beta? That means beta I am writing as relative negative change in volume, fine, divided by or with respect to change in pressure, fine, change in pressure. This is at constant temperature, isothermal condition. Now when I say relative negative change in volume, negative means there will be negative signs, negative change. Now relative change means change by actual volume. That means change in volume by actual volume. So change in volume is dV by actual volume means V. Fine. Now change in pressure, that means dP. This is at constant T. And the same thing will apply again. On introducing a constant, the complete differentiation becomes partial differentiation and independent variable does not change. So the constant is T, that means D will become del. So minus 1 by, there will be no effect on V. So minus 1 by V will be outside. So dV will become del V and dP become del P at constant T. So this is the expression of beta. This is the mathematical expression of beta. So beta is equal to minus 1 by V del P at constant T. Fine. Okay. Now if you see here, you see the unit of beta, and you can understand that this is volume. So in the numerator this is volume, by in the denominator this is volume into change in pressure, that means unit of pressure. So volume will cancel out, so 1 by pressure, that means if you take the unit of pressure in atm, that means unit of beta will be atmosphere inverse. Fine. So unit of alpha was Kelvin inverse, unit of beta is atmosphere inverse. Fine. Okay, this is beta. Now let's talk about some important point regarding beta. So important point regarding beta. Now if you see the expression of beta, then it is minus 1 by V del P at constant T. Fine. Okay. So if you see for solid and liquid, the beta value is very small. So for solid and liquid, the beta value is very small because this del V by del P at constant T, del P at constant T value is very small for solid and liquid. But for gas, it is considerable. So for solid and liquid, fine. This is so for solid and liquid, beta is small because this value del P at constant T is small. Now another importance of beta, you can say that you can write beta is equal to minus 1 by V del P at constant T. So if you write del V, so you get del V equal to minus beta V del P. So the condition is isothermal condition. Fine. Now if you go by the IUPAC nomenclature of work, then work is minus P dV. So you can write minus P minus beta V dP. So work is beta V P dP, and the condition is isothermal condition because the temperature is fixed. Isothermal condition. So from the value of beta you can calculate the value of work. So this is one of the importance of beta. So far we have discussed about alpha, we have seen the mathematical expression of alpha, we have seen the importance of alpha. Now we have discussed about beta, the mathematical expression, the importance of beta, and we have also seen the units of alpha and beta. Now let's talk about another thermodynamic coefficient, that is gamma. Gamma is isochoric temperature based pressure change coefficient. So from the name itself you can understand isochoric, that means volume is constant. Temperature based pressure change, that means if I change the temperature, what will be the relative change in pressure, that is measured by gamma. That means gamma is, you can say, relative change in P, relative change in pressure with respect to change in temperature, fine, at constant isochoric condition, that means constant V. Now relative change in P means change by actual pressure, that means dP by P. Change in T means dt at constant V. Now the same condition, on introducing a constant, d becomes del, so gamma will be equal to 1 by P del P del T at constant V. So this is the expression for gamma. Now if you see the unit of gamma, then gamma is 1 by P del T at constant V isochoric condition. Now if you see the unit of gamma, you see in the numerator there is pressure, in the denominator there is pressure and there is temperature, that means pressure will cancel out, so the unit will be 1 by T, that means 1 by temperature. Now the temperature unit is Kelvin, that means unit of gamma is Kelvin inverse, fine. So if you see the unit of alpha, beta and gamma, then you can understand that alpha is Kelvin inverse, beta is atmosphere inverse, that means it is temperature inverse, this is pressure inverse, and gamma is also Kelvin inverse, that means temperature inverse. So this is alpha, beta and gamma, three thermodynamic coefficient we have discussed about. We have discussed about three thermodynamic coefficient, alpha, beta and gamma. Now what we will do, we will see the value of alpha and beta for ideal gas. Now for ideal gas, you know, for 1 mole of ideal gas the equation is PV equal to RT. So for 1 mole of ideal gas you can write PV equal to RT. This you know. Now what we want to do for ideal gas equation PV equal to RT for 1 mole, we want to calculate the value of alpha and beta. What is the value of alpha and what is the value of beta for ideal gas? Now let's see. So alpha, you know, alpha is equal to 1 by V del T at constant P, fine, del V del T at constant P. Now PV equal to RT, this is my equation. So from here you can write V equal to RT by P, fine. Now you have to calculate this del V del T at constant P for calculating alpha. That means if you take del V del T at constant P, that means partial differentiation, that means del T of V, V means RT by P. So instead of V I put RT by P, this is RT by P and this is at constant P, fine. Now as the P is constant and R is a universal constant, that means R by P will be outside the derivative sign. So R by P comes out of the derivative sign. Okay, so R by V becomes constant. Now I have del T del T of T at constant P. So P is constant, so del T, that means R by P, because del T of T is 1 into T to the power 1 minus 1, that means T to the power 0 means 1. So del T of T is 1, this that means del T at constant P equal to R by P. So this becomes R by P. So if you write here alpha equal to 1 by V, and this becomes R by P. So you put R by P. So you have R by PV. Now PV equal to RT. So alpha becomes R by RT. So RR cancels out. So alpha becomes 1 by T. So value of alpha is 1 by T. So from here also you can understand the unit of alpha is Kelvin inverse. Now this is the value of alpha for PV equal to RT. Now if you want to calculate the value of beta for PV equal to RT for ideal gas, then beta is equal to minus 1 by V del P at constant T. This that means you have this equation PV equal to RT. So V equal to RT by P. Now if you want to calculate del V del P at constant T, then you have del P of V means RT by P. This is at constant T. This that constant T, and R, that means T is constant, R is a universal gas constant, so RT will be outside the derivative sign. Now you have del P of 1 by P at constant T. Now this, if you do the derivative of del X of 1 by X, then you have minus 1 by X square. That means if you do del P of 1 by P, that means minus 1 by P square. That means this will be minus RT by P square. Fine. Now RT means PV, so minus PV by P square. That means you have minus V by P, minus V by P. This value is minus V by P. So if you put beta is equal to minus 1 by V, and this value is minus V minus of V by P. So minus minus will be plus. So V will cancel out. There will be 1 by P. So beta is 1 by P. 1 by P. So for ideal gas for 1 mole, if you do for ideal gas equation PV equal to RT, alpha becomes 1 by T and beta becomes 1 by P. This that means from here you can understand the unit of alpha is Kelvin inverse also, and from unit of beta is atmosphere inverse. From here you can understand very easily. So unit of alpha and beta. So for ideal gas, if you have to calculate the value of alpha and beta, so alpha is 1 by T and beta is 1 by P. Now instead of ideal gas, if you take this gas P into V minus B equal to RT, and for this gas you have to calculate the value of alpha and beta. What you have to do? You have to do the same kind of thing. So alpha is equal to 1 by V del T at constant P. This is alpha. This Now from this equation V minus B equal to RT by P. That means V equal to RT by P plus B. So from here if you take del V del T at constant P, so del V del T at constant P, so this is del T of RT by P plus B at constant P. So from here if you see the P is constant, R is the universal constant, so R by P will be outside the derivative sign, and del T of T is 1, that means R by P, and B is a constant, so that will be 0. So del V del T at constant P will be R by P. Okay, so if you see the alpha is 1 by V del V del T at constant P. Now you have 1 by V and del V del T at constant P is R by P. Fine. Now if you put instead of R, if you put P into V minus B by T. So, or you can, yes, you put instead of R P into V minus B by T. So instead of R you put P into V minus B by P V T. As P cancels out, alpha becomes P minus B by V T. Fine. So this is the value of alpha V minus B by Vt for this equation, for P into V minus B equal to RT gas. Now for the same gas, if you want to calculate, so for the same gas P into V minus B equal to RT, if you want to calculate the value of beta, then you have beta equal to minus 1 by V del P at constant T. Now you have to, from this equation, V minus B equal to RT by P, or V equal to RT by P plus B. Fine. So if you want to calculate del V del P at constant T, that means this quantity, you have to do del P of RT by P plus B at constant T. Now T is constant, R is a universal constant, so RT will be outside the derivative sign. So you have del P of 1 by P. Now del P of 1 by P means minus 1 by P square. That means this is minus RT by P square. Fine. Now B is a constant, that means this will be 0. That means if you have beta is equal to minus 1 by V del P at constant T. Now you have del P at constant T equal to minus RT by P square. That is minus will be plus. So there will be RT by P square V. So instead of RT you can put P into P minus B. So P into V minus B by P square V. That means P will cancel out and this will be V minus B by PV. Fine. So beta value for this gas P into V minus B equal to RT will be V minus B by PV. So this is the value of alpha and beta. We have discussed for ideal gas equation PV equal to RT. We have also discussed for this gas P into V minus B equal to RT, the value of alpha and beta. So that's it. So if you want to calculate the value of gamma for ideal gas and for P into V minus B equal to RT gas, then you can also do that. So gamma you know is equal to 1 by P. So this is del P, this is del T at constant V. Fine. Okay. So for PV equal to RT, so P is equal to RT by V. So if you want to calculate this value del T at constant V, that means del T of P, that means RT by V. So this is at constant V. Fine. Okay, so R is a constant, V is a constant, so R by V comes out of the derivative sign. So del T of T is 1. That means this is R by V. So if you put the del T at constant V value is R by V, so gamma becomes 1 by P into R by V. So R by PV. Now PV equal to RT, so R by RT. That means gamma becomes 1 by T for ideal gas PV equal to RT. Now if you see the value of gamma, which is 1 by P del T at constant V. So for this gas P into V minus B equal to RT, then let's see what is the value. So P is equal to RT by V minus B. Fine. Now you have to calculate this del T at constant V. So del T of P means RT by V minus B. This is at constant V. Now B is a constant, so V is also constant, R is a universal gas constant. So R by V minus B comes out of the derivative sign and del T of T becomes 1. So R by V minus B. So this value is R by V minus B. So you put R by V minus B and there is also P. So this is P. Now P into V minus B equal to RT. So R by RT. That means gamma becomes 1 by T. So fine. So what we have seen today, if we summarize, then at the beginning I've said that what is thermodynamic coefficient. There are mainly three thermodynamic coefficients: alpha, beta and gamma. Then we have seen the expression for alpha, the expression for beta, the expression for gamma, the mathematical expression. We have understood what the term is all about. Then we have seen the units of alpha, beta and gamma. Then we have seen the important features, the importance of alpha and beta. We have told that for alpha, we can, by using the value of alpha, we can calculate the change in entropy. We can calculate the value of work. By using beta also we can calculate the value of work by using the value of beta. And then we have seen the value of alpha, the value of beta and the value of gamma for ideal gas and for P into V minus B equal to RT gas. So that's it for today's lecture.